I found secret videos of myself at 3 AM, then discovered my half-sister had done this to others before. What she wanted next shot me. I still remember the exact ringtone. Not the words, not the voice, the ringtone. That stupid factory default chime piercing through my headphones at 7 AM, bouncing off the narrow concrete walls of my old college dorm room, waking me up faster than any fire alarm ever could. I was 43, too old to be crashing in a dorm, but I wasn't there as a student. I was just visiting my younger sister Lisa, 23, bright, chaotic, studying biomedical engineering and somehow turning that she works room into a jungle of textbooks, LED lights, and ramen cups. She'd begged me to stay the night after helping her move furniture. I crashed on the spare mattress on the floor, wrapped in a blanket that smelled faintly of lavender detergent and cheap pizza. Then a ringtone. Her phone, not mine. Face down on the desk, buzzing like a trapped bee. Lisa didn't move. She was asleep, cold like a cat on her bed, breathing slow and steady. I didn't think. I just grabbed it so it would stop waking her. One glance at the screen froze me in place. Michelle, don't answer. My half-sister. I hadn't spoken to Michelle in 9 months, and not since our last explosive family argument, the one that ended with her screaming that I ruined her life and me slamming the door so hard the frame cracked. So why the hell was she calling my little sister at 3 AM? The phone stopped buzzing. 2 seconds of silence. Then it started again. Michelle, pick up right now. My pulse was hammering. Something was wrong. I don't know why I did it, maybe instinct, maybe stupidity, but I answered. I didn't say anything. I just lifted it to my ear. Rustling. Heavy breathing. Then a whisper. Lisa, you need to tell him. I'm done waiting. It felt like ice water poured down my spine. Before I could even react, Michelle's voice sharpened. Christopher, I know you're there. My throat closed up. I didn't speak. She laughed soft, satisfied. Good, saves time. The next words were slow, deliberate. Like she'd rehearsed them. Check your email. I sent everything. The call cut. I was standing barefoot on that cold laminate floor, phone in hand, heart punching against my ribs. For a moment I just stared into the darkness. Then I moved. I grabbed my laptop from my bag, flipped it open on the floor, the dim glow lighting up the room. My fingers shook as I logged in. One new email. From Michelle. Subject, let's see how fast your life falls apart. I clicked. There were videos. 6 files. All labelled with dates I recognized immediately. They were of me. Alone. In my own apartment. Doing normal things, brushing my teeth. Watching TV. Changing clothes. Nothing obscene, but private. Intimate. She had filmed me without my knowledge. From inside my home. A noise tore out of my chest, something between a curse and a gasp. Then I saw the last line of the email. You have 48 hours to do what I say, but everyone sees everything, including her. I didn't know who her was supposed to be. An ex? A coworker? A friend? Didn't matter. She was blackmailing me. I must have made a sound because Lisa stirred. Chris, everything okay? My voice came out hoarse. Get up. She blinked, confused. What? Get up. She sat up slowly, rubbing her eyes. Then she saw my face. What happened? I turned the laptop toward her. She squinted, then froze. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, where did you get this? She sent it to me. Michelle? I nodded. Lisa looked like she'd been slapped. Then, to my surprise, she whispered. She told me she was bluffing. My blood ran cold. You knew? She winced. Not about this. I didn't know she actually had anything on you. She just said it was leverage. I told her to stop, I swear. I stared at her, unable to process. This wasn't just invasion. This wasn't just betrayal. This was war. And I had no idea how deep it already went. I shut the laptop, closed my eyes, and forced myself to breathe. Then I whispered the only words that made sense. Start talking. Lisa looked like she wanted to disappear into the mattress. She curled her knees to her chest, staring at the floor as if avoiding eye contact could reverse the last 5 minutes. I stayed standing. I didn't trust myself to sit. My hands were clenched so tightly my fingernails dug into my palms. Explain, I said quietly. She swallowed. You're gonna hate me. Probably, I said. Start anyway. Her voice wavered. Michelle showed up at my dorm a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, said she wanted to reconnect. She brought coffee. She seemed normal. Normal. That word made my skin crawl. She started asking questions about you. Lisa continued. Where you were working now, if you were dating anyone, if you were traveling, stuff like that. I thought she was just trying to make conversation. I exhaled sharply through my nose. Michelle doesn't make conversation. She collects ammunition. Lisa nodded miserably. Yeah, I know that now. I paced across the tiny room, stepping over piles of laundry. My reflection flashed in the dark window, wild hair, tense shoulders, eyes bloodshot and lidded. I barely recognized myself. When did she start threatening you? Lisa hesitated. 2 days later. She reached under her pillow and pulled out her phone with a different one. Not the one that rang earlier. She looked ashamed. She told me to keep a separate phone just for her. She said it was for privacy. I felt a bitter laugh rise in my throat. Privacy. She says that while spying on me. Lisa unlocked the phone and handed it over. I scrolled. Dozens of messages. Half of them were manipulative. You, the only one I trust. I just want to fix our family. The other half were darker. If Christopher doesn't cooperate, I'll make sure everyone knows what he did. He thinks he's safe, Kate. You'll thank me when it's over. What does she want? I asked. Lisa hesitated, then whispered. She wants you to break up with someone. I blinked. What? She said you're seeing someone she doesn't like. My chest tightened. I'm not with anyone. She said you were, that you ghosted her, that she wants closure. I felt the pieces snap together like a trap closing. Michelle wasn't blackmailing me for money. She was doing it because of a relationship. A relationship she thinks I had with her. I stared at Lisa. She believes I was with her. I asked slowly. Lisa's face flushed with shame. She said you led her on. My stomach lurched. No, I said firmly. No, that never happened, not even remotely. Lisa nodded quickly. I know. I told her she was delusional. She went quiet. Then she said. She exhaled shakily. She said she'd prove it. That's when the panic truly hit me. This wasn't just obsession. This was right, your own reality insanity. She wants to force me into admitting something that never happened, I muttered. And if I don't? She'll release the videos. Lisa finished, looking like she might cry. Silence. Thick. Suffocating. Then Lisa whispered, What do we do? For the first time that night, I had no answer. The next 24 hours blurred together. I didn't sleep. I sat on that stiff armchair, staring at my laptop, watching those videos on loop, analysing angles, reflections, trying to figure out where the cameras had been. Kitchen. Living room. Bedroom. There were at least 3 different angles. She had been inside my home. Maybe multiple times. The thought made bile rise in my throat. At 9 a.m. I went outside for air. Students rushed past with backpacks and coffee cups, laughing about exams and weekend plans. Normal life. Just feet away. Meanwhile, I was calculating how fast someone could ruin mine with one send to old button. Lisa found me sitting on the curb by the bike racks, staring at nothing. She handed me a coffee. Her hands trembled. I called Mom, she said quietly. Told her everything. I closed my eyes. What did she say? She cried, then she asked if you were okay. I laughed bitterly. Define okay. She also said this wasn't the first time Michelle did something like this. I snapped my head toward her. What? Lisa nodded. She said Michelle tried something similar years ago, with a teacher. Nobody believed him. A silence heavier than anything before fell between us. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't going to end quietly. Michelle wasn't going to stop. Not until I stopped her. By the time evening hit, I had gone from panic to cold, surgical kind of focus. Fear was still there, crawling beneath my skin like electricity, but something had shifted. It wasn't just what is she going to do to me. It was what has she already done. If she had been inside my home, if she had done this to someone before, there had to be more. More victims. More evidence. More rot beneath the surface. She hadn't just crossed a line. She had built a throne on top of it. I needed proof. Not just to defend myself, but to expose her. I drove back to my apartment at night like I was approaching a crime scene. Because I was. Every creak of the hallway floor. Every shadow. Every sound behind the walls, I noticed all of it. I opened my door slowly, half expecting her to be standing in the kitchen with that smug little smile. Empty. Silent. But the silence didn't feel calm. It felt contaminated. I set my phone to record and methodically started searching. Every lamp. Every vent. Every outlet cover. Drawer by drawer. Cabinet by cabinet. Under tables. Behind picture frames. Paranoid guided me and it paid off. Behind the smoke detector in my bedroom, I found it. A tiny black lens, no bigger than a shirt button, wired directly to a hidden micro SD card. I pried it out with trembling hands. 2 more in the living room, 1 tucked into the vent, another inside a decorative plant I didn't even remember buying. Then, the worst one, inside the bathroom light fixture. I stood there, gripping the sink, staring at my reflection. She watched me everywhere. Everywhere. Something in me snapped. I wasn't just scared anymore. I was furious. I swept everything onto the floor. Tools, screws, cracked plastic. I ripped the entire fixture down with my bare hands. I don't even remember feeling pain, just heat. My breath came ragged. I wanted to destroy every trace of her. But then I froze. Evidence. I couldn't destroy it. I forced myself to collect every piece carefully, labeling each one with tape and sticky notes, hands still trembling. At 1:14 a.m., I sat on my couch surrounded by a pile of illegal surveillance equipment. I recorded a video of myself, timestamped full sweep of the room, narration. I sounded calm. Too calm. Like someone reading his own autopsy report. Then I opened my laptop. I started digging. First step, her email address. I searched for her username across platforms and found something I wasn't prepared for. A private Dropbox link, shared with 3 people I didn't recognize. The folder was titled Insurance. Against every instinct screaming, "Don't open it," I clicked. Inside were 42 video files. Only one was of me. The rest? Dozens of different people. Most alone. Some clearly having no idea they were being filmed. A couple weren't alone, had all their partners with them, laughing, kissing, completely unaware. Friends, neighbours, co-workers, maybe strangers. Her reach wasn't accidental. It was deliberate. Calculated. I sat frozen, my mind racing, bile riding. This wasn't obsession. This was hunter behaviour. This was serial predation. Then I heard it. The car door outside. Slow. Deliberate. Followed by footsteps approaching my door. My blood turned to ice. She was here. I moved instinctively, lights off, back against the hallway wall, listening. Keys jingling. Then when my doorknob turned, I held my breath. The lock kilt I had replaced it 2 months ago after misplacing my old keys. A pause. Then a whisper through the crack of the door. "Chris, I know you're awake." I didn't answer. Every instinct screamed, "Stay silent." She chuckled. "You found him, didn't you?" My pulse pounded in my ears. "Good. Serves me the speech." Then, softly, almost affectionately, "Are you ready to cooperate now?" I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Didn't blink. Her voice turned ice cold. "You have until tomorrow, then I decide for you." Heavy steps. The sound of her walking away. Silence. I stayed there, pressed against the wall, listening long after she was gone. My heart wasn't just racing. It was at war with itself. 1. Fight. Expose her. Or disappear forever. But I knew one thing for sure. Tomorrow would not be a negotiation. It would be detonation. I didn't sleep. I didn't even try. I sat in that dark apartment until sunrise, surrounded by wires, hidden cameras, and a USB drive full of other people's stolen lives. By 7 a.m. my decision was made. I wasn't going to hide. I was going to end it. Not privately. Not quietly. Publicly. If Michelle wanted an audience, fine. She was going to get one. First step, backups. I uploaded every piece of evidence of the cameras, the screenshots, the blackmail email, the Dropbox folder full of her insurance files, all of it into an encrypted drive with a fail-safe scheduled to auto-forward to legal authorities and every major contact in her professional network if I didn't manually stop it every 12 hours. It wasn't paranoia. It was insurance against a predator who thrived on silence. Second step, location. I wasn't confronting her at home. Not at mine. Not at hers. I was going to her workplace. Michelle worked at a mid-sized marketing firm downtown in the kind of place with brick walls, glass meeting rooms, and co-workers who pretended to be friends but secretly waited for drama to break up the day. Perfect stage. At 9:42 a.m. I walked into the glossy lobby wearing my best jacket and a smile that wasn't a smile. The receptionist, young, nervous, looked up. "Hi, do you have an appointment?" I shook my head. "No, but Michelle Carter does." She blinked. "Are you a client?" "No." Before she could speak again, I leaned in, voice slow. "I'm her brother." That did it. She stiffened. Office gossip had clearly touched that name before. She picked up the phone, voice shaking slightly. "Michelle, your brother is here." A pause. Then a faint voice from the receiver. Even across the room, I could hear the irritation. "Send him up." The elevator felt like a coffin. Mirrored walls. My reflection staring back, a jaw tight, ice cold. On the 4th floor, the doors opened to a cluster of polished desks and hushed chatter. Michelle was standing near the conference room, arms folded, expression unreadable. She looked exactly as she always did, perfectly composed. Soft curls over one shoulder. Neutral lipstick. That posture of calm superiority she had mastered years ago. Only her eyes betrayed her. She was nervous. "Good. Christopher," she said flatly. "You're being dramatic." I laughed softly. "That's one word for it." She gestured toward the glass conference room. "Let's talk inside." I didn't move. "No," I said clearly. "We're right here." Several heads turned. Colleagues paused over keyboards. Chairs creaked as people leaned slightly to listen. Michelle's smile froze. "This isn't appropriate." "Filming people in the bathroom isn't appropriate," I replied calmly. The room went dead silent. Michelle's face went white, then red. "You're exaggerating." "No," I cut in. "I brought proof." I held up my phone and not playing the videos yet, just enough for the screen to glow. "You planted cameras in my home. You threatened to release footage unless I pretended we had a relationship. You've done this to dozens of people." Asks. Chairs pushed back. Someone whispered, "What the F?" Michelle's voice cracked. "Stop, you don't understand." "HR," I said loudly, turning toward a stunned woman near the doorway. "You want to join us." That snapped her into motion. A woman in her 50s, stained glasses, rushed over with another manager in tow. Michelle's voice sharpened into desperation. Chris, please, don't do this. You stalked me, I said, still come. You violated federal privacy laws. You tried to blackmail me into playing along with your fantasy. She reached for my arm and I stepped back. That's when she snapped. You lied to me, she screamed, voice cracking into hysteria. You led me on, you were supposed to choose me. The entire floor froze. Someone gasped. Someone whispered, Jesus Christ. HR's face went stone cold. I kept my voice steady. I never touched you. I never promised you anything. You created a story in your head and tried to force me into it. She was shaking now. Tears welled not of guilt, but rage. Then one final crack in her mask. If I go down, I am taking everyone with me. She lunged for my phone. Security was already moving. 2 guards intercepted her mid-swing, grabbing her arms as she thrashed. Get off me! He's lying! I earn him! She was dragged back, still screaming my name like a threat. The office watched in stunned, horrified silence. I breathed deeply, slowly, and finally turned to HR. I'll be sending over everything, I said quietly. You'll want to notify your legal team. The HR director nodded stiffly. We already have. I walked out through a hallway of whispers. Some looked at me with pity. Some with awe. Some with fear. But no one looked at her the same way again. You said, next.